The Samurais of Sound community stream. My name is Austin Coffey. I am the producer and casting director for Samurais of Sound, and I will be your host this evening. We are going to get started here by talking about some of the exciting new updates we have planned for Samurais of Sound. And we're going to get some folks in here from our community in the next few minutes as our invitations go out via email. And if you want to receive those invitations, just join our mailing list. Let's see, lots to talk about today. We are going to be shifting gears with our role play workshops. We'd been playing D&D for the last few weeks, and now we're going to try something new using a framework that I developed specifically for voice actors. And that's going to be at our next D&D stream coming in November, so we'll talk about that as well. Just going to wait a few more minutes before I get started for some of our community members to roll in here. Let's see. We've got a couple people watching on Twitter, a couple people on Twitch. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so first thing I definitely want to talk about, and I'll share my screen here. Share my screen. Let's see. Here we are. First thing I want to talk about is our next upcoming... Oh, Justin's here. Oh, great. Great. Hey, Justin.
Hey, Austin. How's it going?
Good. Great to see you.
Good to see you too.
What are you up to?
Right now I'm actually trying to sort through some samples that I've been recording just from some like scripts that I'm trying to get some practice in for voiceover.
Oh, great. Yeah. If you need some help with that, I can definitely help you.
I mean, I think the biggest thing right now is for me to find good scripts for like different genres of voiceover, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to explore all the different ones for like narration, video games, and animation specifically.
Okay.
And maybe some character driven ones too to provide a little bit of challenge.
Okay, let me get a notepad out real quick. Take some notes here. So we're talking about narration. Anime. You definitely want some anime and games, right? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Anime games. Yeah, anime games are a bit similar, but narration is definitely a different genre entirely. Were there any other genres you were thinking about for the script samples?
Besides like character focused ones, like maybe they have to switch between different types of characters and voices. And there's a little bit more understanding of a certain character archetype before the reading is done. Like a lot of these in narration are kind of like you just use your natural voice is a lot of the direction I get. I wanted to get ones with like a little bit more interpretation is needed so I can kind of like challenge myself a little bit.
Yeah, really lean into your decisions for that character for sure. Okay. Yeah, we'll get you some real character oriented script samples. Yeah, I have a note to get those for you. You've got a private training coming up, or is this more for your demo reel, or both?
I had private training a few days ago,
Right.
and
Yeah, with Ross.
yesterday I had a I had a consultation with Raj as well yesterday regarding the demo reel production process.
Oh, great. Okay, so you're kind of gearing up for your demo reel. Welcome, Melissa.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Very well, very well. Taking a break from recording my stuff to see what was going on here. I just got that pop up, so I figured I'd swing by and see what was going on.
Great. That's phenomenal. I think I'm meeting you for the first time.
I think so.
My name is Austin. Oh, Deontay's coming in. I'll let him in. My name is Austin Coffey. I'm a producer and casting director for the studio for Samurai Sound in Strawberry Hill. Hi, welcome.
Oh, somebody's got a closet.
Oh, I've got, let me tell you, this closet right here, you guys, this closet has been the same thing for like the 4 years since the pandemic started. And it's so funny because someone else made a comment about that like last or earlier this week. They were like, we've been seeing Deontay's closet, like the same angle of it for the last 3 years. And I was like, yes, 100%, because on the actual side that you can't see is all my, like, I call it my like adult casual wear, for when you like go to like events and things of that nature. And then over here is all my t-shirts that like I pull out for my day-to-day stuff. But since no one could go anywhere, it was like, oh, they sit there. And of course, like, yes, I wash them, but like they don't go anywhere. So they just sit there. And so I was like, oh, yes. Anyway, no, I didn't mean to just come in here and start yapping. Hello.
Hey, that's what this is all about. A time to come in and yap.
Okay. Well, I figure I'll change mine now too. I'll go back to mine. Mine's a little Walmart tent.
I love it.
With acoustical panels and moving blankets. So we do what we got to do, right?
Do what we got to do. I think with this closet too, like it's so big. I mean, I have this house, we've lived in it now for like 13 years, my parents and I, but like it's so deep and everything. So like, there's a bunch of like reflections from the roof, but thankfully I was able to like panel the rest of it around because it's got those like bubbles on top of it, so you can't just like stick stuff to it. But like I didn't realize exactly how weird it sounded until like I had like a sound engineer listen to it, and I was like, oh, well, forgive me. Not like I know anything about like sound engineering or anything. I went to school for vocal performance and musical theater performance, so yeah, did not know what I was doing. And then they were like, yeah, here you go. So I fixed it. And for the first time in like the 4 years since the pandemic, somebody said that they heard an issue, and I was like, well, one job out of however many I've done so far, I was like, that's pretty good.
Not bad. Where is your microphone? Are you using it right now?
I am. I'm gonna take you off of my little thing.
Oh, there it is.
This is my little actually, this is a very fancy little doohickey. This is a Mannheim Cream tube condenser microphone that I only know about because wonderful voice actress and friend Mela Lee was like, oh, this is a beautiful microphone and it's like half the cost of a Neumann, but people are always asking me, oh, you sound so good, Mela, like, what is it? And I was like, oh, she was like, it's like by this guy. His name is Andrew Mannheim, hence the Mannheim like microphones, I think is his like whole company. Anyway, I saw her upload something with it one time and I was like, that microphone looks so beautiful. I want that microphone one day. And then it just so happened that day came around. It'll be like 3 years, I think, when December comes around. It cost me $1,500. It was $1,555, and I was like, this thing better do its job, and it does, and it has. Let me say that too. It has paid itself off very nicely.
It sounds great.
And my wonderful. Oh, thank you. And like one of my wonderful friends built this custom computer for me, which like also worked great because like one of my very first ever live directed sessions, I was using like a HP laptop, And I never used it because my parents bought it for me for college. But since like, I'm only 45 minutes away from Auburn, which is where I went to. I never like used it because I was like, oh yeah, I can just go to all my classes for everything. And so then I was like trying to use it and it was like fighting for its life. And I was like, I cannot use this thing anymore. So, so that's how it happened. Hello, welcome. And yeah, so that's my microphone. Very glorious.
That was an amazing little spiel there. Thank you.
Sorry, like strawberry cereal.
You're fine. Also, like, and don't worry, I spiel a lot. It's just I don't know. It's part of the ADHD, but also like a little part of anxiety. And people ask you like, oh, how are you doing? And then you tell them how they're doing instead of just saying fine. And then before you know it, you're like stuck in a 10-minute conversation, and they're like, oh, I really just wanted to, get like
Say
the gist of
hi.
yeah. But it's more so like a thing I picked up. I picked it up more from my mother than my father because one time both of them weren't at the house when I was in college, and my mom was working for her new job up in St. Louis. She was doing training, and my dad is a psychologist, but he was like also traveling for training. And I was staying with a friend from college, and I was calling my dad every day instead of calling my mom because she was having to do work at night. And I remember one time I called him and it was like just asking me about my day, and I started telling him about my day. And he was on the phone for like 30 minutes, and we got to the end, and he was like, son, I just really need to know the highlights from now on. Good day? Was it a bad day? Did something happen? And I was like, oh, I gotcha. Because like with my mom, I go like, oh, well, I got to school at 8 and then like 8:30 happened and blah blah blah. I break it down like that. Just nonsense. Anyway, I'm so sorry. I'm just again just a yap.
And Melissa, we were talking about microphones. I think what yours is that an Audio Technica AT2020?
It is an AT. Yeah, that's so just a little bit of a beginner mic. But it's served me pretty well. I'm currently on an audio drama, and so the post is just in Audacity, and I lucked out because my RMS is super low. I'm in a quiet neighborhood. Everybody works during the day. I mean, with the occasional lawn mowing or anything like. So I got super lucky where I could just kind of like slap an AT up here and just kind of do my thing, and I'm really surrounded in. But I am looking to go to that next step of that next mic. But I can't really complain with the AT so far.
Yeah, it's a good it's a really good entry level mic that'll get you where you need to be. We actually have a question from Javika. Javika is one of our premium members taking the private lessons, and she is just listening today because she's on a noisy train back from class. But she has a question. She says, how did you figure out your niche in voice? How do you identify what types of VO your voice is uniquely suited for?
Okay. Short answer, training. I just coaches and coaches and coaches. It comes and it goes in areas that you didn't think it was going to be. And it takes time, practice, coaching, patience, all this stuff I'm sure you've heard before. But it comes. Nobody can give you, this is how you discover it, because every single voice actor got about it their own unique way.
Piggybacking off of Melissa, it's true. It really is just a like kind of a toss up. You kind of are just throwing darts at the board, trying to see like what form of voiceover really fits you. And like, I mean, we all kind of like, everybody says like you should do, or commercials like where the money is at, right? I feel like I've always been told I have a very unique voice. I don't know what that means because obviously I can't hear myself really, right? And I'm like, oh, sure, right? Maybe they'd like to hear me for commercials. I never book commercials for anything whatsoever, right? But people love to hear me talk for some reason, so they keep asking me to do audiobooks, and it's what I've been doing, and it pays bills, right? I never thought that I would do it, but it's a thing that I absolutely love. I used to read a lot as a child, but then, of course, you don't read for pleasure anymore. Once you go to college, you read for content. And so it's like, oh, I've fallen back in love with reading all over again.
Hmm.
And now I get paid to do it. My gosh, nothing better than that. And of course, like, I don't know, other things like other genres like anime or D&D or video games, all of those kind of like Melissa said come with training. Some people are have very innate skills towards it, or if you've like practiced it or something, or not practiced it, or if you've engaged with the medium a lot and you've never taken lessons, you kind of just know or you can feel exactly what's going to go where or how you would interpret a scene without like, thinking, oh, I'm going to break it down like this, that, and the third. But it really does come with time. And I know it's not like the answer that people want to hear, unfortunately,
Right.
because like especially in every other field, right? That is not anything like uh a creative thing, you would be able to be like, yes, this is a quantifiable thing that I can answer and say, you
Right.
will do this, that, and the third, and then you will be here, but you can't. I remember I didn't start doing like voiceover or getting like paid to do it until right after I graduated. And again, I got my degrees in music and in musical theater, and it was like, oh, okay, 2019 rolled along. I had a very big audition for Disney on Broadway, and they were like, we'll be back in 2 weeks. This is when COVID was like starting to become a thing, right? And so they rescheduled everyone, and then we didn't come out for like, 2 years.
Yeah.
And somehow in that time, I don't know why it never occurred to me. I was like, I have friends who are like professional voice actors. I play video games all the time. It's like my hobby that I love. And it's like, why don't I actually like try to cultivate and use this dang degrees that I have, right, to do the thing? And then it fell in there, and of course it was like, oh my god, nobody knows what you're actually going to fall into, right? You had this plan, and then this happened, right? And of course too, we've all lived through a once in a lifetime thing, unless you're like my grandparents who are 90 and you've lived through like two of these things, but like, anyway, I hope it answered your question. I'm so sorry.
It was certainly very thorough.
Oh, well, let me
We were talking
chime
about.
in.
Oh, hey, Leandrew.
Hello. Sorry it took so long because I was sleeping before the NBA tip off began on the couch.
No worries.
But I just want to tell you that I'll be taking voiceover class until next April because still save money to go.
Hey, Leandrew, it's kind of hard to understand. It's kind of hard to understand what you're saying. Is your microphone kind of brushing against something, or can you double check on that?
Oh, just my mustache.
Oh, okay. That may have fixed it. I kind of still hear it a little.
So you heard everything I said, don't you?
Some of it. You might need to
Yeah,
start again.
a little bit.
Okay.
Got some bad static.
Okay.
Maybe there's a connection loose. If you're, are you on an 1/8" jack or lightning? What kind of jack are you using?
Well,
We'll check that
actually, I
connection.
don't have enough money for that, so I decided to go save big to go buy a expensive microphone.
Oh, now we lost his video.
Oh.
And save money to go to school, like college, instead of wasting money on video games or whatever it is. So I won't be taking video class till April until my second favorite video class shows up.
Right.
We were talking about trainings, getting a wide variety of trainings, and I wanted to showcase one that's coming up that I'm particularly excited about, and not just because it's Karen Strassman, because I just love Karen Strassman, but she's doing a Creatures and Monsters VO workshop this weekend, and we're actually still filling up seats for it. So let me give a link for that if you're interested. And we have some members on the call so they can use their member discounts to get a nice sweet discount on this is really interesting. Creatures and monsters. I don't have a lot of personal experience doing creature and monsters voice. Maybe I am. Maybe some among us could shed some light on their experience, if any, with creatures and monsters. But that seems like something that I would really want to learn more about. Has anybody ever voiced
wanna learn
a
creature.
creature?
No, not me though, because I don't learn creature. I don't do creature and monsters voices.
Yeah, I've
Not
done
at
some
all.
audio design for creatures for like video games and stuff, but I've never actually voiced a creature before. Tra, welcome.
Me neither.
Mm.
Me
Welcome.
neither.
I've never done like I guess I could say like an otherworldly creature or something that like, has some kind of definitive like vocal embellishment or things of that nature. It's just I don't know. It's never like slid over. When you do like audiobooks, obviously you get a bunch of like characters that you do, but you kind of also like if you're like me, you create them on the fly kind of thing. And then you have like a file forever that you can be like, oh yeah, I remember how I do that. But like technically wise to sit there and be like, I don't know how I break it down or something like that. It's a very cool thing. And obviously the people who do it all like, get booked for all the cool things, like, all the horror movies and all the other awesome things that happen out there. But like, yeah. But I will say too, just like any class to take with Karen, amazing. So just jump at the chance anyway.
Yeah, oddly enough, I have to after I leave you guys, I'll be finishing my recording for an audio drama that I'm in, and one of the characters that I've hopped in to help the director on is going to be possessed. So that's my first foray into that. She's a sweet old lady, and then she gets possessed. So I've got to figure that out at some point tonight. So I go from Lawrence, would you like some soup to so I have no idea where I'll figure it out, but I'm not quite sure what's going to happen this evening.
Oh my gosh.
I'll give them a bunch of options and see where we land on it.
You'll have to let us know how it goes next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Leo Braun, that's the name of the audio drama. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Leo Braun. Let's see.
Leo Braun.
Can I look
yes.
that up? Leo, Leo.
You absolutely can. Yep, we're just about ready.
How do you spell it?
Leo.
Yeah.
BRAWN.
Oh, Braun. Okay, Braun. Leo Braun podcast on Spotify.
Yeah, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Okay. I will drop I'll drop a Spotify link here.
Please, that would be great. That would be wonderful. We just finished our first season with Shoestring TV, and we got enough Patreon support to do a second season, so that's pretty exciting.
Oh, it's on Patreon.
Yes, it is. Yep, and Apple and all sorts of good stuff. So it's one of those little grassroots kind of things, where everybody gets kind of. I feel like I'm hanging out in college again. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Actually, I don't have enough money to go to college. That's why I saved up.
No. This was 30 years ago, son.
Oh.
This was in the 90s.
That was when I was born.
Stop it.
Oh, I know.
Well, I save money to go to college for voice or basketball or a pro who has special needs just like myself. Unfortunately, I can't handle it because I can't listen. This is not high school or elementary or middle school. This is college and university. You have to listen to every staff and students. Otherwise, they'll just kick you out.
Fair enough.
Now, Melissa, Javika has a question for you in the comments.
I just saw that. Do you do a lot of podcasts? Do you submit auditions for them, or do the people who know you work reach out and establish in that genre? Well, this particular gig, I got super lucky. It was a friend of a friend on Facebook, and so Jason Beard was the director. and he posted generically on a so as you know, Strawberry and all that. So everybody's got Facebook groups and things that they can people group in. So it was one of those VO groups on Facebook, and I saw the posting through there, and he was actually hiring for a captain of a demon hunters, basically, but he was looking for a male, and I said, would you be willing to give it a listen? He said, I never thought about it being female, but send me your demo. Let's see what we can do. And he immediately called me back and said, you're the authoritative, you look like you're going to, I got my sergeant. I'm not where I got my captain. You sound like a captain. I love your, and that was it. So it was kismet from that point. So I got super lucky in that regard, but it was through just kind of, every single day I've got notebooks of who I need to call, who I need to check in with, how many auditions I need to do. And all the while having a full-time job and stuff like that. So you do kind of go around that sort of thing. So I'd recommend, all the schools, these kind of network opportunities right here that you're doing this evening. And following along those where everybody's kind of sending you, because it is so much information that you have to weed through just to figure out what's relevant to you. And the best place to start is just very simply schools like this and groups like Facebook, start slowly networking that out through there.
Thank you so much for that response, Melissa. That's a good segue into a project that we've been working on at the studio over the last few weeks. We've been compiling a list of resources to help voice actors land gigs in terms of casting websites and stuff like that. So we've actually added that resource to the membership as of 30 minutes ago. I just finished adding it in. So if you log into your member area, you'll see it there. It's I think it's called Resources to Help You Land Gigs. And it's just a list of websites essentially that where you can see lots of different listings for auditions. And Javika says to Melissa, amazing, as you said, super good luck, but you were super prepared to receive it.
And that was the thing too, is being prepared. I've only been doing this for a year, but I've been in theater for 25. So yeah, it's being prepared and continuing your craft, and don't stop. just don't stop. It's a journey, not a sprint,
Yeah. Oh, I have another exciting announcement. I already spent one of my exciting announcement points on the voice acting resources guide, but I have another one. We're going to be launching a new series of role-playing workouts. We were talking about D&D earlier as being a genre for voiceover. I've actually developed an original framework for role-playing that's designed for voice actors. It's super, super streamlined, and it's you get to roll dice and have fun, but there's lots of space for improvisation and sort of flavoring your characters and developing their backstories and playing off of character-to-character interactions much more so than you would get in a traditional role-playing game, because it's a different focus. There's lots of mechanics and sort of statistics. You still get some of that in this new game. It's called Voices and Choices. But it's a really good balance and a really organic way to role play. And I'm super excited to try it out. I'm going to be running a game next month. Members get to play for free. Anyone can join, and I'll throw a link to that in the
Yes, thank you. Yes. Okay.
November 12th.
Yep, November 12th, same time that the community streams start. It's a Tuesday night at 5:30.
All right, I'll be there. Can't be late.
You can be late. It's okay. There's no pressure. It runs for an hour usually, so don't be too late.
It's my birthday.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
oh,
happy
oh, happy
birthday.
birthday.
It's
Oh,
on
happy
November,
birthday, madam.
November 12th is my birthday. So you'll be having the stream on my birthday.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, happy birthday. Oh, happy birthday.
My
On the
birthday
12th, be sure and say that.
I definitely will. It is Melissa Johnson's birthday. My birthday is on November 4th, so just 8 days.
Oh,
Oh, another Scorpio.
That's right, another Scorpio.
Danger, danger.
Watch out.
Okay, what else we got? What else we got here?
Javika's
All right.
asking some great questions.
Yes,
It's open.
yes, absolutely. And yeah, not just asking the, I'm new, how do I get started? No, no, no.
yeah.
What is it you want to know?
Yeah.
So you're asking some really, really great questions. They're specific, and that's what you need. You're asking what you want to know.
That's basically it. Ask whatever you want because I assume most of us are either professionals or like working into getting into this professionally. And so, we've got lots of things. We've got lots of things to discuss, Melissa's talking about college, right? So like they they asked me like maybe it was like a year ago, like the current BFA students at Auburn, they were like, we're talking to some alums and like, we'd really like to hear about you and your journey. And I was like, asking about alums. I was like, I just was at Auburn like 4 years ago. I'm only like 30. What are you talking about? I was like, we have so many more other like people to ask. Like, we have Kate Higgins and Evan Michael Lee. Why don't you go like email the people who are like in stuff, not me? I mean, like, I say that to say, of course, that we're professionals, so we have answers as well.
So so the work that you get, Dante, is it through ACX mostly, or?
Okay, so here's the thing, and here's a little story for you all as well. I went viral like last year on TikTok because somebody like who was a big like audiobook person stitched me and was like, "Oh, I don't see a bunch of like narrators of color." So like she put like 10 people who were in there and I happened to be one of them. So I made a response because, I was thinking along the lines of like, "Oh, somebody asked a question, so I'm going to answer that question, right?" Anyway, then the video kind of went viral overnight and I was like, "Oh, absolutely not 100%." But I say that to say, and I'll say it like I said in this video. So I found this lady way back at the beginning of 2020, and I can put her name in this chat box here. Her name was Bailey Varnus, and she had a series that was on YouTube called like How to Get Started on ACX, right? And I followed it. She kind of like broke it down of like, oh yeah, this is how you look to find work, how you can edit your audio, blah 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 blah, how you get paid, etc., etc., etc. And I followed it, and I was like, oh, okay, I can think I can do this. And some of my first ones were terrible, and I still leave them up because wow, look how far we've come. And so after that, I was doing it for about like a year or so. And then I don't know what caused me to do this. I think, well, just because my brain was thinking it, I think I typed in like audiobook production companies in like Google, and like there's this wonderful thing that I'm going to put in the chat here as well because I have it bookmarked that was like, oh, it was like here's 21 audiobook publishing companies and producers in America. And I was like, oh, excellent. So I went through, I put on my pants and was like, time to send these people an email. And I sent them all of kind of like not a blanket email, like not a stereotypical one, but it was like, hi, I'm Deontay, this is what I did, I graduated, blah 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 blah. And if you would like to take a chance on an audiobook narrator, because I had done like 3 or 4 books at that point, I was like, you could try it. So then this big company that I still kind of work with now, Tantor Audio, which has like 3 subsidiary audiobook companies underneath it, they like really liked my little sample, and they were like, we have a book that nobody has done right now because it's really big. It's like 18 hours. But they were like, it can be your first book if you really like want to try and work with us. And it was called The Other Side of Prospect by Nicholas Dawidoff. And it was a very big book. It was 18 hours, like it was. Um, and it took me, I think it was 3 weeks. I think I overestimated or kind of like underestimated how big it was because I put something like 2.5 weeks is what I would need. And I was like, oh, absolutely not. And I was so stressed when I asked them for a extension because I was like, oh my God, I had no idea, but this was so big. And they were like, no, it's fine. And I did it. It was great. Oh, and my very first, one of my favorite things I like to say too is like one of the reviews on that book said that I was an absolutely abysmal narrator, that I should have never been bothered to do it again, right? And here I am like 2 years later, after that, I got this Tantor continued to send me auditions for the next like 2.5 years, and we still work together now. And I've had some very wonderful books that they send me, and sometimes they ask me to audition for them, and sometimes they don't. They just are like, hey, do you want this book? And I'm like, oh, thanks. I will take it if I have like something in my schedule. And, now I like to think that even though I am an abysmal narrator, I still get paid to do it. So there's that.
What DAW are you using?
I use Audacity.
Okay, good.
I keep it simple and I keep it clean.
Okay.
They handle the editing at Tantor. There are some places like ACX or like I just started working with this other company called the Urban Writers, and it's kind of like the same vein of ACX where you can audition for certain books that you like. Um they like want you to do the editing sometimes for those, and it kind of went like, oh, okay, sometimes I do it well, sometimes I don't. Now I've got a good good thing going with it. So it's a mix, I guess I should say, between like finding the auditions and then sometimes them giving it to me. I'm also very blessed to say that, working with Tantor really opened some doors because like it's how I got my agents. It's how I managed to, get on the roster of some like recording studios out there in LA and whatnot. So like, I'm very thankful to them every day, and I try to let them know that every time they send me something because I don't think you can ever be too grateful. How long did it take to record that 18-hour book? Like like 3.5 weeks that I was working maybe like 4 out of 5 days of a week because I try not to work on weekends because I try to be a regular person. But there are also certain days, but you just have to like sometimes you have to put in the thing and do it like 7 days a week, which kind of sucks. Is there a formula for pages to hours to record? I will say this, not really.
Not really.
You can kind of like gauge your regular speaking inflection and speaking speed. And naturally, some people will either read very fast or read very slow. And there is like a sweet middle ground when it comes to audiobook narration. I personally don't think that I narrate all that fast or narrate all that slow. I've been told that I'm a bit on the faster side, but like no one has ever said, oh, you need to like dial this back. So my thing is about like, it takes me about 2.5 minutes per page, 2 minutes maybe sometimes. And so, a 20-page chapter will be about a 40-minute long audio file, give or take whatever things that I'm doing with it. And sometimes it gets faster, sometimes it gets slower, depending on like what you've done, which characters you're making, or like what kind of information is being conveyed through that audiobook. Like right before I got on here, I'm working on this book called like Managing Your Anxiety. And so there I kind of narrate very slowly and meticulously, but not like so slow that it sounds laborious or it sounds condescending or anything like that.
Right. I was going to jump off of that a little bit where you were talking about narratives and storytelling that often people forget that this voiceover people that the first thing you hear is like AI, but there's so much voice work out there medical narration, e-learning, all that kind of stuff that people forget. They go, oh, it must be commercial work, or it must be television or film or audiobook. There's a million education is a wide education in medical and technical, huge range of looking for people that can speak properly, good diction and good pace, and and don't sound like they're monotone, are going to fall, you're going to fall asleep while reading it. So put just a little inflection in there. But yeah, that so learning, e-learning and education, wide range of VO work, wide range.
It's like, Deontay, I have a question. When you're working
yes,
on
sir.
those long passages, those long books, what happens when you make a mistake? How do you handle that?
I click my tongue like so. So, oh, let me read this thing, right? She says, also, how many takes do you end up doing per page/paragraph, or do you just do it straight? And then if I was to make a mistake in there, or do you just do it? That's what I do. I do that, and then I hit stop, go back 5 seconds, erase that if I have to edit it myself, and then just redo it. Some people I know keep their mistakes in for like Tantor. I don't do that just because I feel like it might make me look bad. And so I just erase the mistake and just go back over it. So sometimes, I don't know, I think it depends on the person, but some people keep their mistakes in and then let the editors handle it. I try to make their job as easy as possible and don't have any in it. So I typically will make some kind of sound, go back, erase the mistake, and then try to get either back into the flow of whatever it was, whatever the sentence or paragraph was, or if a mistake came and I was reading something and I was like really in a groove and I didn't take a break, I have to go back and like redo that whole thing from the start. And it's like, but it is what it is.
So you
Now, what do you do with your? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, not at all. Please.
Oh, sorry. I was actually gonna jump off of what you were saying. I was gonna ask him about breaths.
breath.
And do you leave some of them in? Do you take all of them out? Do you bring them down? Do you set that noise reduction?
I hit the little noise reduction.
That's what I'm talking about. Yep.
If I have to do it myself. No one has ever told me that my breaths are like annoying or anything. I don't think I have like egregious inhalation when it comes to recording, but I do like just inhale a lot in general. But for me, I personally just like to hear people's like inhalation. Not that I don't listen to a lot of audiobooks just because I find it very hard to focus on listening to it, because if you miss something, you can't like turn your page back and then be like, oh, I missed that. I have to like rewind it and everything of that nature. So I'm like, the times that I do listen to them, I've heard people keep their breaths in, and I don't mind that. I like that because it makes it feel a little bit more human. Some people don't like the breaths, and some people just like absolutely don't want them in there. But no one's told me yet that they don't like my breath. So like that's not an issue for me. That's for somebody else to tell me about.
Yeah, I've been getting the same feedback, is that some clients like it, some clients don't. I've been getting the same exact feedback.
Oh my gosh, so sorry. What were you gonna ask me, Austin?
Yes.
I was going to say, I was just going to comment that on your editing style, where you, because what I thought you were going to say when you say you click your tongue when you make a mistake, I thought that was like going to be some kind of like signal that tells you like, okay, later on, I'm going to go back to that click and I'm going to delete that.
That's what I thought too.
I have like absolutely no patience to do that. And it's like, I know some people do that and then they'll do like the whole editing thing at the end. But I very much like to spend my time doing what I want to do. So like, I allot the time of, I'm going to be in this hot box for like 2 or 3 hours, right? And I'm going to work, take my breaks in here and yada, yada, yada. But then when I'm done with that, I like turn this off and I don't come back in here unless I get like a rush job for my agents or something. So then I go and I go and play my games, I go and watch anime, I go do all the stuff that I want to do. Because if I was to sit there and edit and then be like, okay, now I got to come back at the end, I feel like it adds more time to then try to go back through the entire wavelength and find those like clicks and whatnot, and then be like, let me erase that and go back, and I'm like, I could have just did this in the 5 seconds or 10 seconds that I stopped and I made the mistake. That's just how I operate. I know some other people do it the other way, but no, because like I said, when I turn it off, I turn it off. I'm like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. So it's much easier for you to gauge time if you're just doing the edits as you go along versus having to commit like 10 to 20 minutes at the end. So sort of, I always feel like I underestimate how much time goes in at like when you feel like you're done with a project, and then especially like we work in like music and audio for like television and stuff, like, but voiceover too. It's like you feel like you're done, but you have like another 15 to 20 minutes of like exporting audio, like making sure everything is saved properly, and just like overthinking everything a little bit.
Yeah, definitely,
100%.
definitely.
Be over thinking, man, that gets me. And like, I started this, just kind of like leads into this thing, right? But during the pandemic, I started like my master's degree in developmental psychology, and I'm halfway through it because I've been going to school so long that I kind of just like, once I had to do it online, I was like, this is not fun, and I don't want to keep going like this until school's open back up. And now I've been working all the time, so I haven't gone back yet. But I always remember this one statistic from one of the classes that I had to write about attention and whatnot. And so like when you are working, especially in anything, right? And it might have changed now because this was like 2 years ago that this data was still fresh, but apparently just by having your cell phone in proximity of your workplace drops your productivity by 70%. It doesn't matter if you don't like click it or anything. It's just the fact that it is there and it has like all this constant access to the internet. You can just click and be on it. And I think that statistic also included, maybe it was like other internet windows that like don't pertain to your job, because I find I just like, sometimes when I make a mistake, I just like will stop and look up something, or I go to like look up a word in the dictionary, the websterdictionary.com, and I'll like go look up something else, or I'll stop and freeze. Something might have come into my brain, and then before you know it, 10 minutes gone. You're just like scrolling through the internet, and you're like, oh my God, I could have. And of course, even that adds time. And then I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna get out of here when I wanted to. So yeah.
I've been really careful on my phone to screen my notifications for like different apps. Like if there's an app I'm not using every day, there's only probably 4 apps, maybe 5 apps that actually are able to notify me, because like you said, like otherwise it'll just flash on all the time. I have it sitting right here, right? So I get like my messages, I get my calendar when I have events, and a few others, right? So it's good that it's good to manage those every now and then. I'll just comb through the notification settings. I'm like, do I really need Uber telling me I have $2 off on like my McDonald's order right now?
Oh, it's so crazy. I didn't know how many notifications like Uber sent you until I actually had to like start Ubering. So I never Ubered until this particular like year. I ended up going, so like, not to sound like I'm like, oh, like upping myself or anything like that. I'm not, but I had a movie that I recorded in like 2022 with a fabulous, amazing Wendy Lee, who like I didn't nerd out until the end of our session, but it was pretty cool.
Wow, congratulations.
And thank you. It was this movie called Four Souls of Coyote, and it got nominated for the Annies. And so they were like, we want to fly you guys out to the Annie Awards, like people from the cast, and so you can go to it. And I was like, oh, okay, that'll be fun. So it was like near Burbank, or near it was at UCLA, Royce Hall. And we were Ubering from there, and like I brought my mom and my nephew out because my dad, he was like, I've been to LA, I don't like LA. And I was like, fair enough. So we brought my mom and my nephew, and they came on like a different day, and I was Ubering everywhere, like preparing for the event, and I didn't see them at all. But I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll see you guys there. I'll Uber somewhere, right? And like Ubering just from like LAX to like the Airbnb was like so expensive. And I was like, I hate this. And it was like going back and forth everywhere else. And I was like, this is like one of the worst things ever. And then they had us come back out to like New York and again back to LA for some more screenings this year. And I was just Ubering again, and I was like, my God, this thing like notifies you for like everything, first of all. But second of all, it just gets so expensive really quickly. I had no idea because, I have a car.
Right.
Gas is what it is. But like, trying to hop a taxi or hop a Uber everywhere, oh, absolutely not. Ridiculous.
I imagine you
Anyway,
could write those off.
I hope. I don't know. Um, just gonna sound very charmed, but my father is like one of the people who does like people's taxes.
Oh,
So he just does my taxes. I don't know what he does. I have absolutely no idea. But I'm just like, he told me just keep a list of expenses, and so I just send it to him, and that's it.
wow, that's wonderful. And so awesome that you got that film with Wendy Lee, no less. She's done a couple of workshops for us in the past. That's really cool.
She is quite fantastic. And like I know some people are like, "Oh, she's not that nice or whatever." I personally don't think that that's true. I think that some people just don't gel well with her. I say that she reminds me of my voice teacher in college where it was like, yeah, she's fun and everything. She just has a way that she wants stuff to be done. She's very peculiar and she's kind of a hard ass, but that doesn't make you a bad person. That just means I want it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Help me get to that, you know? And it is what it is outside of work. Yeah, so.
Now, Deontay, I wanted
Yes,
to ask
sir.
because you're one of our members here who's talking. Javika is also a member and listening this evening. Do you have any questions about your membership? Because that's part of what we want to use this time for. Is if anyone has any questions about how to work certain things. I know sometimes it can be a lot of information. There's a lot of stuff in there. So.
Oh goodness. Not that I know. I was actually going through it because I did the thing today, like paid for it and got in and was like, oh, wonderful, because I was saying that I was going to do it for like the last 3 days and I had a bunch of other things that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So then I spent like the last 3 hours or so, like kind of going through every link to find out like what I could do. I uploaded like my demos and wrote my little bio and put my resume and stuff in there.
Yeah, I
So
saw that. Yeah.
I think I've done everything that I need to. I think I've seen everything that I think it can give. Not like everything, like, oh, I sat here and went through every class and whatnot, but like I got how the links work. I don't know all of like, the super benefits yet because it's a lot of information, but I was like, that'll happen as I keep reading.
Okay.
Mm,
Great. Can I like
mm.
super embarrass you and pull up the profile you just made?
You can go ahead.
Okay. This is exciting. Let's see here. Explore member community. And
I also have to say, like, I know Jivika is just like listening in, but like both to her and Tra, I really love your guys' hair in like the photo and like when you're moving down there. I just see it and I'm like, oh, so nice. You know, I've got my own like little ponytail happening here, but I should have braided it because it's hot as I don't know what.
okay, so this is the profile. Wow, this is like one of the most honestly put together ones I've ever seen on our site. I'm not just saying that.
Oh.
It's very robust. You got the resume on there. You got your accents and dialects. Of course, the demo reel. And that's a nice headshot. Wow, this is awesome.
Thank you. I got it done because one of my friends' mom is a photographer, and she was like, "Oh, can I like shoot you?" Because she was trying like some new thing, and I was like, "Oh, I need some new headshots anyway."
Mm-hmm.
Actually, speaking of, that was like 2 days after, or no, a week after I came back from the LA Annie's. So like that's why my hair is like very straight there. You kind of can't tell right here, but like it's like very poofy and whatnot and like very big. But yeah. Uh,
Okay, let's see.
is there a way to check out who else is a
I
member?
think I should practice
What's the
Mhm.
voiceover
question,
before.
Melissa?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, is there a way
She's-
to check out who else is in the member? Yes, yeah, there is. That's Shabika's question. Let me
Oh, how
show
about me?
you.
Oh,
Let me go
sorry.
to. I have a lot of tabs open right now. So when you log into your members area, this is what it looks like from the member side. I need to change some of these images. This one I just added in like literally an hour ago. Is that resource sheet? But anyway, there's some quick links at the top. That's how I always get to it when I want to check out the members. This has all the members that we've had since the beginning. So I'll often just plug in some little selectors there as I browse. This one always sticks out to me because they use their little artwork here. But you can host your demo reel, a little bio, country, resume. Most people don't do their resumes, but Deontay did, of course. So I don't know why it only loads that many at a time. Oh, Bobby's one of our new members. So yes, to answer your question, when you log in, you can see all that information. Okay. I'm gonna unpin myself here. And I'll real quick, I will provide a link to the membership for those of you who are interested in exploring the benefits. Basically, the idea is just to give you everything you need to get started in your voiceover career in one package so that you can spend your money as effectively and efficiently as possible on resources that otherwise would individually cost more. So it's a 1-year membership, and you can renew it after that, of course. But the idea is to basically give you a springboard for training, resources to book gigs, ongoing practice, education. There's courses in there with Karen Strassman and Morgan Berry. I guess I'll just scroll through this page while I'm at it. So that's sort of the idea. Here's one of our members, William O'Fabe, who's doing My Hero Academia right now, some others. Come to my roleplay workouts. They're going to be a lot of fun. Of course, you get discounts on the workshops. You get your demo reel. Deontay already has a demo reel, but if he wants a new one, you get discounts on our demo reel production packages, which is super fun. And essential, really. You have to have a demo reel. So, any questions about that as we stare 6:30 in the face? 6:30 in California.
Well, I got one question.
Yes.
So I haven't practiced for 6 months after I booked Mark Jr.'s video class. So I decided I should go save money for more video class starting next April, because I need to save money to go to college or university, or go live a house in downtown Toronto or Scarborough. Anyway, is there any more future classes, either November, December, January, February, March, and April, or even
yes,
the summer?
We are planning to have one workshop per month from here on out, and we have not released our 2025 schedule to the public yet. But if you go to our website and you go learn workshops, voiceover workshops, you can see all the upcoming workshops. The one that we are filling up seats for that's coming up this weekend is the Creatures and Monsters with Karen Strassman. And then the following month, Morgan Berry is doing her Intro to Anime Walla class, which is sort of a more technical, specific skill that is kind of hard to get training for unless you're setting aside the time deliberately to practice. And then, like you said, with Mark Allen Jr., he's got his Intro to Anime ADR dubbing class. That's coming up at the end of November.
Well, I'd like to take both classes, but unfortunately, I get paid next Thursday, at least $1,000 bucks. but I got no idea where I gotta buy because
Right.
these colors will be expensive.
Okay. Well, yeah, just pick the one that you think is going to benefit you the most. Probably a skill that you have the least amount of practice in. I'll throw links in all three of them. If you like Mark Allen Jr.,
So which one I got?
Mhm.
Which color is better, either Morgan or Mark?
Well,
Because
they're
I
all
can only
great.
pick one.
They're all great. If you're asking me to choose, goodness, I would probably say it's so hard to say. It depends on what your interests are. If you want to get into ADR, you don't get very many chances to practice ADR, and it's a really specific skill. And we have Jose Sandoval is an engineer at Crunchyroll. He is also going to be there, and so in terms of getting lots of different perspectives in a short amount of time, I think the anime ADR is going to be a really good one. But Anime Walla is just as interesting. So I don't think it's fair to call one better than the other. But hopefully that gives you some insight.
So Mark Jr. is my option.
Sure.
But the bad news is that it's not cheap. Not at all.
Well, it's an investment, but
It's
like I
very
said,
not cheap.
the goal is to give you a way to invest in these trainings in the most cost-effective way possible. That's the idea behind the membership. So you can always pick up a month, and then when you book a workshop, it pretty much pays for itself. Actually, it's better to go year though, because you'll save even more. But that is about our time, folks, and I want to be respectful.
I'll save up for these two.
All right.
That's okay, because
of course. Let me switch off my virtual camera here. And I just wanted to say thank you for everyone for joining and sticking out the whole hour and just basically like sprinkling in amazing pieces of perspectives and anecdotes. That was really wonderful. And I hope to see you guys future streams. We stream every Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. And once a month, we'll be role playing. And the game in the near future is one that I wrote myself called Voices and Choices. And I'm really excited. And I hope to see you there. And I hope to see you at our workshops.
Austin, real quick.
Yes.
Can you book the demo a la carte, the demo production?
Yes, you can. You can book the demo a la carte, and I will give you a link to that right now.
Thank you. Because you can always use a tune-up if it's
Absolutely, and we will give you a top-tier reel. I studied audio production in college. That was my degree before I became a voice actor. So I can personally attest to the quality of our demo reels. And there it is.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, because as both me and Deontay know, that our first demo is nothing like what we are now.
Right.
So
yeah.
I don't even want to listen to my first demo.
Yeah, when you listen back to your older versions of your art and you cringe, that's because you've learned a lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, brilliant. I'm glad you can do this a la carte. That's really good to know. All right, cool. Thank you so much, Austin. Really appreciate it.
All right.
Austin.
Yes.
Do you do like demo consultation, like if we set up, if you're able to like listen to my demos and give feedback? That was the word I was looking for, feedback, not consultation.
Yes.
Which I guess means, you know what I mean.
Absolutely. I will give you, it's the one you posted already, right? So I already have access to it. But if you want to send me that one or multiple ones or different one, just follow up with me via email. I'll throw my email in, Austin C, or you can use info. I'm the man behind the curtain. Yes, I will definitely.
Wait, I got more questions right now.
Okay, good. I'm glad you posted your email, Austin. Thank you.
Of course.
Okay.
Actually, Austin,
yes.
I need less than 2 years of acting experience before doing my demo reel. That's what Amber told me. That's what Amber said. Because I had to be very extra careful, because most of these folks may take advantage of me, or I may get shot myself in the foot.
There's no
So
hard
I
and
need less
fast
than 2
rule
years
as
to
to
act.
when you should be recording your demo reel, but you should definitely feel ready. And it is an investment, right? So you got to think about, okay, like if I make it now, what are the odds I'm going to need to make it again in 6 months, right? So
Right.
once you realize the answer to that question is no, like this will last me a year or so, maybe longer, and I'm at a good place in my voice acting, then that's when you start considering, okay, this is worth the investment.
But and plus I need to listen before doing my demo reel. And the worst part is that I'm a little autistic.
That's not
not
an
the worst
obstacle
thing.
at all. It's really
Oh,
not.
sorry about that.
No, there's no that's really not an issue, and it shouldn't discourage you from pursuing what you want to do in life.
Yeah, if anything,
Uh,
this is a very welcoming community as far as that goes. So, I
all
mean,
right,
we're all a little kooky.
all right.
Thank you,
Okay.
Austin. I got a jet. Thank you.
Alrighty, that's our time, folks. Thank you
Okay,
so
Austin.
much.